I've got some light dumbbells tonight. They're kind of optional. I use them on the recovery stuff just to give the hands a little bit of weight for some, just to be one step closer to the field for the water, okay? But not essential. We're gonna do some blocks of full stroke front crawl, varying degrees of effort. And then we're gonna have some recovery. And there's a couple of ways you can do the recovery. I'm gonna mix up some backstroke, some rotation work, maybe some slow front crawl with the dumbbells with a surface recovery, but they'll kind of be choice, okay? So let's get going. We should be on for a couple of minutes of easy full stroke front crawl warm up, and then we will get going, okay? Let me just get in position. Here we go. Easy full stroke front crawl. I've actually taken my quads up a notch, so they're actually going to be a little bit more tiring, but I feel I needed that. I was making some progress, so that's not a bad thing, is it? Hope you're all doing okay. Friday, gosh, where's the week gone? We'll have a bank holiday soon. I think there's one coming on a Friday, isn't there? Not that it sort of makes much difference at the moment. So, full stroke front crawl. I'm switching the shoulders from side to side. I'm bringing them into the chin. I'm keeping the head still. You won't see the back of the stroke. Camera's not quite in the right position. Maybe I'll just take that back a fraction. Might just help. There we go. All right, good work, good work. Excellent. All right, I think that's about everyone there that's going to join us. Okay, welcome. Hope everything's going well and got an exciting weekend planned. So we've been hearing a lot about it on the news. So I've just made a few modifications to and it is 5 weeks ago, I believe. 5 weeks we've been doing this. So it is time to come back to some of the favorites. So I've made some changes to the pyramid of pain. Okay, we're going to go an exponential pyramid of pain. I've heard that a lot on the news recently. So I've been checking my maths, and I think I've made some nice changes that are going to result in a lot of tired arms. Okay, so in a moment, we're going to start with a 1 minute full stroke front crawl, 1 minute, obviously with the submerged recovery. And then we're going to go 1 minute of recovery. So 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. And then normally we would jump to 3 to 4, always with a minute, but we're actually going to go 1 minute on, 1 minute off. 2 minutes on the chords, 1 minute off. 4 minute chords, 1 minute off. And then 8 minutes is going to be the pinnacle of that pyramid. Okay, so here we go. Are we ready? 1 minute on, please, guys. 1 minute on. Here we go. Keep it light. We're not trying to pull the ceiling down. Okay, just keep it light. You can always take a step backwards from the point of where you have your chords tethered. Later, just get the technique in, get the rotation happening. Obviously, I'm in a vertical position. Maybe you guys are horizontal. Just try to get the hips involved. Try to get the hips involved. Get the triceps warmed up. Push through to the back of the stroke. Let the hips roll out of the way. Don't be static through the hips. Don't be flat. Okay, that's not going to help you streamline. It's not going to help the length of your stroke. Work on getting the full body rotated. Nicely done, everyone. Okay, now the way I've got my chord set up, I can do a backstroke quite easily off of these. Okay, so for the first minute, all right, I am going to just roll in some backstroke now. That's a minute down, and now we've got my minute recovery. Switch the shoulders from side to side. Nice, easy minute of backstroke. The two strokes complement each other so nicely. I mean, look at this. You could, if you were filming this from another angle, you probably wouldn't know the difference between the strokes if you could take the arms away. But they do complement each other so nicely. Remember, there's a catch position. That's why I'm bending the elbow at this point, just about here. And as the rotation finishes, I'm pushing down past the hip. Good work, everyone. Don't think we do enough of the other strokes. Definitely backstroke would be of benefit. to so much long distance front crawl for triathlon, for open water. Backstroke would be the one to reverse all of that front crawl and really help the shoulders recover. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, let's spin it forwards again. Let's spin it forwards. Here we go. 2 minutes, please, guys. 2 minutes. Good work, good work. So, if you've been a little bit enthusiastic, maybe take a step closer. If you feel yourself nicely warm, you can always take a step backwards. It's up to you. It's up to you. I can't see you, so I'm not judging. You've given up your Friday night, so I know you're here. I know you're dedicated. I know you're working hard, and that's all that matters for right now. Good effort. Keep the head still. Let the body do the rotating. If you can, if nothing else from all this dry land work for this period of time while we're indoors, if you can make this connection between keeping the head still and letting the body switch. On dry land, this is so unusual. Swimming is a very unique sport that we need this head remaining still for best effect. It's heavy, it's clumsy, and the more it sort of wobbles around, the more the hips will follow, and it's just going to need stabilizing. The legs are going to splay out to keep you balanced. Things will not work well. So head still. If you want to add in some breathing, that's your choice. Maybe we can leave that till the 4 and the 8. For now, think about setting your catch position, work on some good technique, pop that elbow out, keep the hand down the center line. Think about channeling as much water backwards as possible, so you go forwards. I've studied enough, I've watched enough, and it's rare that people sweep outside of the body. It's very rare. And listening to our podcast with Dan, our physio, it's not healthy, and there's a lot of research on this. It's not healthy for the shoulders either. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to switch now. I'm going to pick up my light dumbbells for the backstroke, okay? Light dumbbells, okay? Just so I get that little bit more momentum, a little bit more freedom from the cords. Just 1 minute of recovery. I like to add the light dumbbells just so you get that sense of a little bit of weight around the hands. You get that feeling of being in the water, that feel for the water. I'm holding it, I'm anchoring it, I'm catching it, and I'm traveling past. That's what we're looking for. 30 seconds in, everyone, 30 seconds. Keep the head still, switch the shoulders from side to side. Think about your catch position. Last 15, last 15. This may not feel much like a active recovery at the moment, but it will after the 4 and the 8. And actually, if it all gets a bit too much, we will add in some other options. We can go to some rotations. There are some options. 3, 2, 1, back on the cords, please, back on the cords. Here we go. Take a step back if you're feeling good. Stay right where you are. If you've got your paddles attached, think about your hand shape. Let's be accurate in terms of what we would be doing if we were in the water. There'd be a little bit of daylight between the fingers. Keep the palms facing the wall I'm swimming away from. I'm tipping the fingertips over nice and early. I'm using them to as a full blade from fingertips to elbow to send that water down towards the feet. I don't want to lean on that and push a straight arm down to the bottom, palming the water in the wrong direction. Pivot early with the elbow to give you that surface area. Nearly 1 minute done, nearly 1 minute done. Oh, this 8's going to be a big block of work, but that's okay. We've trained for this. I recognize a lot of the names on the screen. We've been coming back regularly. The shoulders should be able to do it. The triceps will be up for it. And then, of course, you can take the rest of the weekend off. So, head still. I was talking about the trajectory of the hands under the body. Okay, so be careful not to sweep across. That's not going to be helpful. That's going to sort of need the hip movement or a leg splay to keep things balanced. Equally, I often see front crawl demonstrated with a wide sweep of the hand coming outside the shoulder. If you're interested, I can send you the studies. That can lead to some shoulder complications, okay? If you watch enough elite swimmers, those hands will be traveling anywhere between the backbone, down the center, and no wider, not outside of the shoulder. And obviously that range will depend how much you rotate. You know, the flatter you are, the wider you could come, but equally that comes with complications. Good work, everyone. That's over 2 minutes done. We're over halfway. We're over halfway. Okay, let's think about a little breathing now. Okay, I'm going to go 3 to the right. I think that's a good rhythm. It's a lot of air coming in repeatedly before I switch, and give me 3 to the left. Okay, and then I'm going to use that to switch across to the other side. That little breather there, that little bit of harder work, holding it steady before I recover with a good amount of air coming in for 3. And then back to the other side. There's 1 to the left, 2 to the left, 3 to the left, and then back on it across to the other side. You don't have to go bilateral every third stroke. You can mix it up. That will do the job of breaking down the bad habits, stop them taking the hold, stop them becoming ingrained, but it will keep things, you know, it'll promote the symmetry. It'll keep things moving nicely. Okay, less than a minute to go, less than a minute to go. Maybe the arms will need a little bit more recovery. Maybe we will go with a standing rotation recovery for that minute, okay? Last 30 seconds before we get to recover. Good work, everyone. We're aiming to finish the lesson with that stubble rash on the shoulder, gents. Keep stretching forwards. Working on keeping the rotation, even though we're tired, trying to finish beyond the hips, beyond the hips. Don't exit early at the hips. Good work. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tremendous. Okay, ditch them. By all means, if you're enjoying the backstroke, work on the backstroke. That's giving you, you know, even if you've got the quads horizontal, just drop them for the moment. Come to standing. The backstroke will give you that rotation that the horizontal chords might limit. It's up to you. If you just want to just shake them out, keep the head still, bring the shoulder through, bring the shoulder through, let the hips follow. That's good. If you want to add in a little drawing of the sword, you've probably seen this one. We've done it in the cool downs, but again, it just keeps the blood flow through the arm a little bit, takes the shoulder through its full range. I'm just sweeping from side to side. What with the narrow stairwell I've got here. Okay, last 15 seconds, last 15 seconds. Now, be realistic, maybe take a step forwards. It's 8 minutes coming up, all right? It's the long one. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, good. Back on the chords we go, back on the chords. Okay, don't start out too aggressively. This is about endurance. It's about keeping the range, the symmetry, the angles at the elbow, the length past the hip, absolutely everything identical. And when that happens, the logic suggests that you should move forwards in a straight line. It's when one arm takes a different trajectory, at a different speed, a different angle, doesn't expose as much surface area of the forearm and the out of the elbow. You know, you want all of that taking shape and sending all of that down. But if one of them's doing it with less, it's very difficult to remain swimming in a straight line. And obviously in open water, that gets punished. In a pool, you know, everything's parallel to you, to your movement forwards, the black line, the lane ropes, everything's straight. And with the process of just constantly nudging you back on track, you know, you will stay straight with the eyes open and the clarity there so you can see what you're doing. But there's cost to it. There's energy being wasted. There's small modifications being made to keep you moving forwards. You don't get that in open water. You won't have the clarity. You won't have the straight lines. And you'll be taken off course. Or what's the alternative? You sight. And you sight a lot, which again has a consequence. You lift the head, you sink the hips, even with a wetsuit on. And If two people were swimming at the same pace, somebody was sighting every 4 or 5 and the other person was sighting every 10, you've got to go with the person sighting every 10. They're not lifting as often, they're not putting the brakes on, they're not sinking the hips, they're not coming back to a flat position having lifted the head and then re-accelerating back to a normal swimming sort of velocity. You've got to go with the person that sights the least amount, and that's only possible if the stroke keeps you straight. Good work, everyone. That's over 2 minutes. Quarter done. Quarter done. That's over 2 minutes. We're going to get through this. I mean, let's think about it. 8 minutes. That's a pretty solid, well, who knows, 700 meters, depending on your ability. I recognize most of the names here. I think most of you guys could hit 6, 7 in 8 minutes. So we know we've done this. Often we'd have pull buoy and paddles to make it a little bit easier perhaps, but this is good, this is good. Go back to your breathing if you wish, if you feel it helps. Think about when to time your breathing. I'm actually turning the head before, literally as the hand travels under the eyes, I'm into that position so that as I get to the air, the hand is by the hip and then the head is returning back to its neutral position. And I don't make any connections, I don't build momentum, sort of a negative momentum that will have the head trapped into the armpit and things sweep across, and unfortunately that often brings the arm across the center line. So, 3:30 gone, 3:30, we're almost halfway, we're flying through this. Okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to promote the podcast again. If you are interested in the relationship between physio and swimming, I couldn't have asked for a better guest the other day. An old swimming buddy of mine, Dan Smith, who works at a physio. He is a club coach. We're talking about swimming technique, and we share a lot of the same opinions. I mean, I do bounce ideas off him. We talk a lot. If I see something on social media or something filters back to me, I'll talk to him about it. Often, you know, it's not all it's cracked up to be. You know, and often these ideas are good at maybe an Olympian level, but do they filter down to us mere mortals? So again, I speak to him a lot and we get a lot of great discussions going, and that's now available on a podcast. I also discussed cramping. That's a problem. Triathletes come to the pool with tired legs from all that biking and running. So I had a chat with a lovely lady that came to Club La Santa with us in January, professor of nutrition at a university in Geneva, and we discussed cramping. So if you're not sure where to find them, they're all over the Swim for Tri, Facebook, Twitter, and Steve True, he's a top triathlon coach. That's a little bit more of a trip down memory lane, but we do discuss some training principles in there as well. He went to the Sydney Games back in 2000 when triathlon was very different, but he still got a lot of valid input and was a great guest on the podcast. Good work, everyone. Less than 3 minutes to go. Less than 3 minutes to go. Keep switching. Keep the head still. Finish beyond the hips. I also spoke to a friend of mine, Scott Coey, who came to our very first lessons back in 2003 when they were over in Essex. And he was not taking, well, he was dedicated and focused, but he let himself go a little bit. He enjoyed partying, and quite proud to say that, you know, in the course of 10 years, he changed his training, revolutionized his swimming, and actually qualified for Kona. And back in the early days, you know, he was struggling around the super sprints at Eton. So that's another good interview. If you're looking for what it takes to finish that journey, he works in the city, he's very focused, and some of that inspiration might just pay off. And you know, might ring a few bells if you want to go to that length and see what it takes to get to Kona. Good work, everyone. We are almost at 90 seconds to go. 90 seconds. Don't lose focus. Thank you for listening to the sales pitch, but don't lose focus. Don't let the technique go. Remember, we're repeating. Swimming is dull in that respect. Same movements repeated over and over again, but with so much more focus, so much more attention. You know, if you're sitting on a bike, the handlebars and the pedals tell the arms and legs what to do. Unfortunately, we've got free rein in the water, and we can move where we want. So your job is to keep that on track, keep them moving the same speed, the same angles, repeatedly, over and over again. Nothing too aggressive. You don't have to be overly strong for long distance, but you do need to keep making these movements count. Don't let it become short. Don't let it become flat. Don't let the head get involved. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. Last 35 seconds. I know the arms are ready to drop. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. Keep going. 30 seconds. Reach forwards, brush the chin, and we're going to have a nice minute's recovery. If you need a drink, don't worry about the body, the arms. Just have a little stretch, get a drink in, and we are obviously going down the other side. We've got our 1 minute recovery, then we've got the 4. We've got our minute recovery, then we've got the 2, our minute recovery, and we finish with the 1. You knew it was going to be at least 30 minutes, so hopefully you didn't think this was just going to be it. 3, 2, 1, we're done. Fantastic. Woo. Shake them out, shake them out. Maybe have a little stretch. This is a simple tricep stretch I quite like. Have a drink, shake the arms out, get the breathing under control, throw in a little bit of rotation work, especially if you're on the horizontal chords. Throw in a couple of drawing the sword positions. Loosen that up. Try to keep the head still. It's all about the head still, remember. Head still, even though we're rotating, drawing the sword across to the other side. So remember now. Now, if we were in the pool, the principle of the pyramid of pain, you would be counting lengths, meters swum in these time periods, and you would be trying to achieve the same amount of distance. So for now, just work on the same rhythm, the same sort of speed and hand turnover, looking for the same stroke rate. Everything is the same. If you need to take a step forwards just to take the pressure off, that's absolutely fine. Here we go. 4 minutes coming up, please, guys. 4 minutes coming up. So same angles, same early pivot out of the elbow. I know when I get it wrong because I clip the wall and I clip the, if I'm getting a little bit lazy, a little bit flat, it's quite nice to be swimming. There's, if you want to see a great clip, I can send it to you. I can't remember where I found it. But I like to apply the principles of narrow swimming. So, you know, whether you are recovering with a straight arm or a high elbow, and what we mean by that is that sort of straight arm coming up and over and setting your catch position in here, or whether you are high elbow and coming through, setting your catch. Think about being narrow. So the hands under the body and the hands over the body. What we don't want to be is low and wide. And there's a great piece of footage of somebody swimming at a very high speed, and they've moved 2 bulkheads. You know how in a 50-meter pool you get the bulkheads and you can kind of squeeze them in so you get a middle 25. They've narrowed them all the way into like less than a meter. And this guy is just flying across the pool, must be the width of a 50-meter, within sort of that it is under a meter. I know it's under a meter, but that's narrow swimming at its best. I was really chuffed to find that. So I can more than happy to share that with you. You'd be amazed how narrow it is. Good work, everyone. Good work. Coming up on 2 minutes. 2 minutes to go. Just 2 minutes to go. We are flying through this. Take a step forwards if you feel the stroke finishing early and the triceps just haven't quite got it. Move up a stair if you're in a stairwell. Whatever you need, whatever you need. Keep the breathing going. Maybe add that in again just to distract you from the unpleasantness of what's going on with the arms. 3 breaths to the left, 3 breaths to the right. It's that sort of compromised bilateral breathing we like to talk about and think about. that gives you that air coming in on a more frequent basis, but it still stops the bad habits from becoming ingrained, because it will balance you, it will mix things up, it will stop a single side becoming overly aggressive, ingrained with all the faults that might happen. Good work, everyone. So 1 minute to go, 1 minute to go. Keep it going, keep it going. Once this is done, we've only got 2 swims to go, and they are very, very short in comparison to what we have just done. We are well over the peak, the top of the pyramid, and we are swimming rapidly down the other side. Open out the fingers. Okay, remember the hand shape. The palm is pushing water towards the feet. I'm actually adding a little bit of a pivot at the back of the stroke, sort of from that point onwards, just to keep the palm facing. It's something you might want to introduce and think about. It's often a part of people's strokes that gets overlooked. Open out the fingers a little bit. We don't clench, we don't go too wide, but we catch as much water as possible with the fingers a couple of millimeters apart. Good work, everyone. I'm going to switch to the backstroke now with the light dumbbells in 3, 2, 1. Take your recovery any way you wish. Take your recovery. Okay, fantastic. Unwind. If you don't quite have the backstroke available in its sort of pure form, you could always throw in the pool, certainly for the cool down, some double arm backstroke. Not easy for me in the stairwell. Some double arm with a pull between the thighs, and you can get a lot of the benefits of stretching the shoulders out, reversing the shoulders without the technical sort of complexities of the full stroke. So that's a nice, simple reversal. But if you can learn backstroke, my goodness, you'd have so many options to spice up your main sets, to make the shoulders a little bit healthier by just giving them another direction to swim through. It would be really helpful, really helpful. Just got to work on keeping the hands opposite each other. Full stroke front crawl, there's many options, but with backstroke, they stay completely opposite. Good work, everyone. Let's pick up the chords, pick up the chords. Here we go. 2 minutes, please, 2 minutes. Take a step forward if the triceps are burning and you feel the stroke shortening and you're just not getting the value you want. Take a step forward, it's no problem. If you're feeling strong, take a step backwards. I think I'm pretty good where I am, actually. I might just, if I take a step back, I'm going to disappear off the screen. So I'm going to just stay here. Focus on the length, focus on the early pivot. Keep the head still, switching the shoulders, letting the hips follow. That good, narrow, streamlined, full stroke front crawl that's going to be so effective on those long distance events. Don't forget to get the hips involved somehow. If you are pivoted with a horizontal set of chords, somehow you've got to get your rotation in. Vital that you do your standing rotations during these rest periods. Less than a minute to go, less than a minute to go. Good work, everyone. Last 45 seconds, don't let it shorten. Keep pushing, use the triceps, dig in, grip the teeth. It's gonna get a little bit, it's gonna hurt a little bit now, but we can finish this nice and strong. Finish it nice and strong. We've got our recovery coming in just 30 seconds. Last 50 meters. We're gonna get there, and then we're gonna get nice and easy. We're gonna get the recovery in. 20 seconds, 20 seconds. Come on, finish strong, but don't shorten the stroke. In 15. Keep the breathing going. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Well done, well done. Good, good, good. Definitely get some rotation in some way. Okay, especially if you're horizontal. I'm going to keep rolling the shoulders backwards with the backstroke. I do enjoy backstroke, especially after a hard front crawl set. It's just the air flows, the head is still. It's just the perfect counter movement. The shoulders will love you for it. 40 seconds, 40 seconds. Get there. Don't forget to let the hips flow and roll with you, but work to keep the head still. Work to keep the head still. Don't forget your catch position, pivot at the elbow. You're pushing the water towards the feet with the forearm and the hand, just like you would on full stroke front crawl. Last 15 seconds. Last 15 seconds. We've got a minute. Strong to wrap it up. Little bit of a cool down. And there's your exponential pyramid of pain. I might do this when we hit the pool. I know it's been a good variation. 3, 2, 1, fantastic. Here we go. Last minute, guys, last minute. Finish strong, finish strong. Take a step back if you can. Doesn't matter if I go off screen now, really. I think I'm still there. Just gonna add a little bit more tension. Work the triceps into submission. Keep going. Come on now, last 40 seconds. Don't forget to rotate. Keep the head still. Add some breathing if you think it'll distract you from the fatigue in the arms. 2 to the left, 2 to the right, because I am getting a little bit tired and I do want the air to come in. Here we go. 20 seconds remaining. 20 seconds. That's all, guys. That's all. Catch and send it back. Catch, send it back. Shoulder brushes through to the chin. Hands finish past the hips. We're nearly there. We're nearly there in 3, 2, 1. Well done. Well done. Okay. Maybe just start the cool down with a very simple rotation. Keep the head nice and still. Get the breathing under control. Maybe just shake the muscles out a little bit as well. Good work. Let's add 5. Let's draw the swords to each side. There's 1. There's 2, 3, 4. Fantastic prehab exercise. If you listen to the podcast, Dan talks about prehab exercises to keep the shoulders strong, to keep them healthy, work on any imbalances, avoid injuries. Prevention, certainly better than cure in the world of physio and swimming. You don't want those shoulders getting injured. Okay. And then let's just roll through a little bit of backstroke. Maybe try some double arm to work on your flexibility if you've got the space. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Wonderful stuff. Good. If you want to repeat this, it'll be on YouTube later on. Please share this with friends and family. It'd be good to get a few more people involved. And I'd like some, if you can, I'd love to hear some feedback. I did mention to the group on Wednesday, I was thinking of continuing this as a chance for people to do another swim each week to supplement their pool time. I'm just wondering how many people might be interested in that. Have a great weekend, guys. I hope that went well. I will talk to you very soon. I'll send out invites for Monday. If you could let me know if you're interested, or just look for Facebook, and we can catch up then. Have a good weekend. Thanks, everyone.